how things are going to go on for us. We've got another 15 minutes, so you get to choose from.
You've got a few more.
I'm just about to tell you. You get to choose from 80s cocaine aesthetic adverts, COVID ads, 70s ad, or Hooters commercials. So guys on the panel and in the chat, cocaine, COVID, 70s, or Hooters?
I'm for the cocaine.
Can I have cocaine and Hooters?
Yes, you can.
Cocaine and booze.
That's the right.
Yes.
That is the right choice. So
Going for the true 80s. 80s.
I've got to say, I'm glad we're going for the 80s cocaine aesthetic, because this is, I mean, it is simply awesome. And this advert, it's not. Well, I'll show you the advert, but it is just wonderful. I'm not going to press the button. You, Samson, you press the button.
Jack LaLanne Holiday Spa is spending over $30 million. It's the biggest building and renovation effort ever. Soon you can put your body to work in one of the finest health club facilities available.
We're building a club like this for you.
Get 80% off dues on any new Liberty membership at Jack LaLanne Holiday Spa.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I'm going to
America.
sign up.
The 80s was lit, man.
That's the 80s I want to visit.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that is. I know, it's just.
That's the America I love.
Yeah.
I kind of hate it.
Why?
Oh, of course you do.
Oh, how can you not like
No,
that?
I've always.
This is the America of Arnold Schwarzenegger and huge biceps and lots of
It
cocaine.
was the good America.
Great.
Like, that was peak America.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something.
Like, fuck the 50s. That was peak America.
No, there's something like everything's very artificial.
No.
Right?
That's
No,
authentic.
this is true America.
The 50s was artificial. That's
Yeah, but no,
authentic.
everything about that's authentic. Everything about that is made of plastic, right? Everything about that is fake. Everything about that is gay. Everything about that is just
awesome.
It's purely about surface impressions. It's just vanity, and it's just self-centeredness. I mean, it is like the core.
Carl sat there watching like Predator, going, "I don't think it would be realistic that this squad would all be so muscly."
No, I like Predator. Predator's great, but it's this kind of aesthetic that is just it's kind of like peak cyberpunk. Yeah, in a lot of ways, and
amazing.
I always
That's what
found
makes it cool. It's
horrifically ugly.
It's the first Terminator aesthetic. That's what makes it so cool.
Yeah, but
You must remember the 80s different to me, because when I was a little kid, I used to see stuff like that all the time and think, wow, this is so cool, it's going to be brilliant when I'm older. And then I got older and I got the bloody 90s and noughties. I wanted that.
This was before gangster rap came in and everything in the 90s started to get really gritty, and before
Yeah, but you can see why.
It's before you get things like Falling Down. This is
Yeah.
you can say that this is fake.
It is fake.
You can say that this is all held up by the last years of the Cold War, but it's before the facade fell down, and you get Falling Down and things like that, where it's like, oh, everything's miserable and sad. Now, oh, we're not into hair metal anymore. We're into grunge, and Kurt Cobain's blown his brains
But like,
out.
it's not sexy.
That's not cool.
Right?
That's not cool.
Sure.
That's not fun. This is cool
But
and
like
fun.
the American cyberpunk aesthetic is just not sexy, right? It's just it's not like
It literally
attractive.
is.
It's not.
It
it's not.
literally
No.
is.
It's not. It's a kind of weird desexualized abstraction of it.
You had
right?
Jane Fonda in a fucking bodysuit.
Yeah, I know. She wasn't hot.
She kind of was.
No, she wasn't though. Like, she looked again. Like the thing is anti-sexuality, right?
No.
That she's not doing anything sexual in her bodysuit, right? What she's doing is working out in the gym. Okay,
No. She was literally throwing her leg into the air so that she
Yeah, I know.
so that she show off what's between it.
yeah, but again, that's
And Carl,
yeah. She's
Carl's-
doing
Carl's
this
just there
thing.
like, so unarousing.
No,
No.
But
Peter Hitchens over
she
it.
is not doing something sexual, right? Like she's it's like a statue. It's like a naked statue. Like, yeah, oh look, I can see the woman's boobs on the statue.
So
but it's not
you're
sexy,
telling me
right?
the guys making this advert, when they had her lie on her side and throw her leg up, didn't know what they were doing?
Like, how
Come
does
on,
she
man.
look sexy?
Dude.
How does she look? I don't think she looks sexy.
No.
She looks just fake, plastic, covered in
It's not
makeup.
fake. She looks like a fit woman.
I don't.
hot
I mean, dude, come on.
I just don't think that's
Beautiful
sexy.
man.
I don't think so.
She's
at all.
hot. Come on.
I don't know how this advert could be any better than it already is.
I think it's atrocious.
Dude.
Anyway, that's just me.
All right, okay.
Okay, all right.
I like more
So
women to.
so we're skipping the Hooters ad
She-
before it offends
She,
Carl.
no, I'm not saying I'm offended by it, but she looks like she's made of plastic, and that was always the issue that I had with like the sort of 80s Americana.
I'd say,
Like, all-
I'd say
all
the
of the people-
2000s was plastic.
I'm not saying it's not plastic.
The
The 80s
2000s
also was. Right? And
No, the 2000s still had hot women.
80s was like futurism, but it was also like the good thing about 80s sort of pop culture was it was self-aware. It was kind of like tongue-in-cheek and sort of ironic.
No,
a lot of it.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was.
No, it wasn't. The 80s was really embarrassingly sincere, which is why the 90s could come along and be like the sardonic grunge.
Yeah, but everyone I know who was like 20 in the 80s says everything was cheesy back then. It was great. They called it cheesy.
Yeah, but they
For a
only called
reason.
it cheesy in retrospect.
No,
because
everybody knew that Scarface was cheap.
Everyone knew like Thriller was cheesy. You know, like
No,
Michael
they
Jackson.
didn't. Like they were sincere, and it was the build-up of this weird sincere culture
people did know
that
that
allowed the 90s to come in and undercut it
people knew
and
that
make
it was,
it cringe. Like it was only after the fact the 80s became cringe.
like people knew it was cheesy. I mean, you had
No, it
bands,
was-
you had bands like say Bon Jovi,
I think-
Motley Crue, all them were cheesy, and everybody knew it. And then you had bands like Metallica.
I think-
and Slayer
I think
who
it's
were
the opposite to what
Explicitly
you're saying.
trying to
Yeah, but
not.
I
be
lived
I think
through
the 80s was like sincere in its sort
It
of.
was not self-aware.
The 90s came in and tried to be sincere in a gay way.
No, the 90s wasn't sincere. Like that's the point. Like everyone in the 80s has big hair and gay clothes because they genuinely think that's cool at the time. And
I think it's cool now.
It is cool, yeah.
Sure. But it was in the 90s that the culture basically flips and says, no, that's all gay and you're all a bunch of gays. And so as a kind of post hoc rationalization that they oh yeah, that, I mean, you know, whatever. But like they were sincerely perming their hair because they thought it looked good. Like, I'm not even joking.
Let's play another 80s cocaine aesthetic advert and see if this one can win you.
Or anything more.
Can I make a shameless advert? I have a pair of Technics 1210 Mark IIs for sale, so if anyone would like to buy them, please hit me up.
Swing by the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
That was a cool advert.
I love
that was
the
very
energy.
Tron.
Yeah.
Very Tron.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's not cool or anything.
You literally just made the argument the 80s weren't cool.
No, I didn't think they were cool at all. I thought they were total cringe, but I kind of came of age in the 90s. So I'm...
Which was a massive disappointment after being a little kid in the 80s. Because you were like, oh,
But
being old is going to be awesome, and then you got the 90s.
Yeah, but the
Imagine
underlying...
how disappointing it is for me.
Yeah, but the,
Well,
the
yeah, yes.
underlying critique
Yeah.
is correct. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to live in, like, the high-tech future. And what's that mean? That means working in a fucking office cubicle until you commit suicide.
Yeah, but it's office cubicle and cocaine, which sort of makes it
Yeah,
worth
but
it.
actually, it turns out there was a lot less cocaine going around
Yeah.
than you think, right? Especially when you sat there 9 to 5 doing your office job. That's why you end up with, like, Falling Down and The Matrix and Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like Fight Club.
I get it. I get it.
The 80s was totally sincere about this fake plastic veneer over an incredibly boring and grinding existence a lot of people had, which is why they went out and did loads of coke at the weekends. Got to do something to exist through it. And the 90s was a rejection of all of this.
I'd love to visit 80s like LA and San
Yeah.
Francisco.
Sure, I'm sure.
Go see Metallica in their
I'd be in
prime.
my element.
That'd be awesome.
Sure, I'm sure that those couple of parts are good, but the rest of it was... I mean, and the thing is, I'm not saying like people didn't have fun or anything like that, but they were not ironic at all. They genuinely, sincerely viewed themselves on the cutting edge of civilization.
I saw Metallica.
They genuinely did.
No, sorry, the chat's just saying next Lads Hour everyone needs to do a line. Go on.
I saw Metallica in Donington in 1992. Was that still their prime?
Yes, that was right after the Black Album. That would be like perfect time to see them. I'm very jealous.
I saw them.
I think when
Well, that-
was Seattle? Was that
89.
1989?
Yeah.
I think that was prime Metallica.
Well, I mean, it's within 3 years of itself, so they were still hitting their peak. I saw them in 2009 on the Death Magnetic tour when I was 12. First gig I ever went to. Still good.
We got time for one more random 80s advert, and then we end up on the Hooters one, shall we?
If you would like to see the full version of this premium video, please head over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to gain full access to all of our premium content.